crisis intensifies as Senator Limadu Sharif asked the courts to commit Senator McCarthy and four others to prison for what he says is a contempt of court. And protesters Plaza, the PDP national office, asking Senator Sharif to go. Senator McCarthy group insists Senator Sharif should wait for the Supreme Court judgment before thinking of moving into the party national office. And that's our focus on the program. Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on China's television. I'm Seun Okimale. It is now 39 days since President Muhammadu Buhari departed Nigeria for London on a medical vacation. And as the nation eagerly awaits the return of President Buhari, we continue to anticipate a safe recovery and return to the country. But do let us know your views on our Twitter handles as we await his safe return. 39 days on now. Well, today on the program, the PDP crisis gets us talking. And at the party secretariat today, the national office of the People's Democratic Party, protesters troop to the party head office where they're protesting that Senator Alimadu Sharif should go. A group of protesters loyal to the Senator Ahmed McCarthy Caretaker Committee has taken to the national secretariat of the party, calling on the police to stop the national chairman of the party, Senator Alimadu Sharif, from entering the party office. Senator Alimadu Sharif moved into the national secretariat of the PDP on Friday, relying on the Court of Appeal judgment that declared him as the authentic chairman of the party. But the group loyal to the Ahmed McCarthy faction of the PDP is insisting that the national chairman must wait for the Supreme Court judgment and who should be the party's chairman. Meanwhile, Senator Alimadu Sharif, the national chairman of the PDP, has asked the Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt and Rivers State to jail his rival, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, and some of his loyalists over what it describes as contempt of court. In the suit, Senator Sharif is accusing Senator McCarthy alongside other prominent leaders of the Caretaker Committee of the party of flouting the order of court which was delivered on February the 17th of 2017 and asking the court to commit them to prison for 1 year. The appeal court in the earlier judgment had, in addition to pronouncing Sharif as the PDP national chairman, ruled that the removal of the National Working Committee was wrong and the constitution of the Caretaker Committee is illegal. The two sides have been speaking on this matter. Let's take a listen to Dr. Carol Jubo of the Senator Alimadu Sharif group and Mr. Dayo Adeyeye, the spokesperson of Senator Ahmed McCarthy group.
We have set the time with that number, but if there is anybody destroying this party, if there is anybody working for people outside this party, it is these same people led by McCarthy and Adeyeye. If he says he's going to the Supreme Court, we are not stopping him. We are ready for the Supreme Court. If he says he's going, when the Supreme Court gives him the judgment, let him come and take over.
We are calling on the police and the general public and lovers of peace and democracy to ask Senator Sharif and co. to respect the ongoing litigation processes. The police will ensure that Sharif and co. do not occupy the National Secretariat in order to avoid breakdown of law and order. We have noticed that the police have taken sides in this matter, perhaps because of directive from the APC. But a stitch in time saves 9.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Today we'll be talking about the PDP crisis. But you know, Channel Television Politics, we spoke with Honorable Gbajabiamila on the 2017 budget and some of the issues raised. Of course, we showed you part of that interview yesterday. I took a listen to some of his thoughts on the 2017 budget. You mentioned it as one of the achievements of this government. Are you proud of the 2017 budget as laid by the president last year, December?
The 2017 budget is a robust budget. It's a budget that seeks to reflate the economy of this country. There's a massive injection of capital, of funds in the budget. Hitherto, we had budgets of about 4 trillion, thereabouts. And the last 2 budgets of this government rose from 4 trillion to 6 trillion last year, and 7.29 trillion, a 28% increase this year. So to that extent, it's a very ambitious, very robust budget. We're in a recession, and the way you get out of a recession is to inject funds into the system, diversify your economy, which is what this budget seeks to do and has been doing in the last 2 years. People have paid lip service, previous governments, to diversification of the economy, and we're practicalizing it. If you look at the sectoral allocations, you'll see a lot of funds pumped into infrastructure, job creation, wealth creation, agricultural diversification. There's a national housing fund to develop our mortgage system, or to expand our mortgage system. The tax base has been expanded to bring in more revenue. There's a lot that goes into this budget, and that's why it's called budget of recovery and growth. That's why I was christened that, recovery and growth.
Your very good friend, Honorable Abdulmumin Jibrin, is under suspension as we speak, 180 legislative sitting suspension, and he talked about pardon, and one of the things that he said is perhaps reflective in this 2017 budget. The president said there won't be pardon in that budget. If you look at it, the enormity of the frivolous items in that budget gives a lot of concern, and one would wonder what has really changed.
Well, first of all, let me point out a very subtle difference between what Abdulmumin said and what you're saying. What Abdulmumin said was there was pardon within the National Assembly. Okay? What you're saying is that there's pardon right from the executive before even coming to the National Assembly. Correct? Okay, so there's a difference. In terms of, speaking to your question, in terms of pardon from the executive, that's why there's checks and balances. That's why we've always argued that the National Assembly is not a rubber stamp. That's why we've always argued, and it's trite that the legislature holds the power of the purse. Okay, so that's why we would go through this budget with a fine-tooth comb. We'll look at it item for item, item by item. Budgets world over, some even have typos, or some even have mistakes embedded in budgets. Some are intentional, some are deliberate. It is our work. It is our work as a legislator to bring in those checks and balances. It is the outcome you should be concerned with, the final product that comes out of the National Assembly. Not so much, yes, you should be concerned with what comes in, no question. But the law is what comes out of the National Assembly. And we'll definitely look at these issues that you're talking about in terms of whatever pardon means. I don't know, you call them frivolous items. Yes, we will look at them.
Are you happy with the manner of treatment Honorable Jibrin melted on him by the House, considering that he blew whistle on corruption in the National Assembly?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't want to speak to that issue because I've already made my opinion known on that issue earlier, and I would not want to revisit it at this point in time. And I don't think the House should, quote unquote, be blamed for a whistleblower, assuming that he was one, not being treated fairly. He did what he needed to do. He took the matter to the law enforcement agencies, the FCC, police, and the rest of them, and he has done his. The National Assembly has nothing to do with this. He has put the ball in the court of the law enforcement agents. So it's up to them to do whatever they want to do. I am not aware of any pardon. I don't understand what that means. If pardon means, look, let me explain something to you about pardon. Okay, and that's why Nigerians need to understand. It doesn't mean that if you hear anything negative about the National Assembly, you don't even get a chance to you're not objective, you don't want to understand what's going on. If, for instance, I represent a constituency, if, for instance, a budget is sent to the National Assembly, it's the one time when you have, it's one of the most important pieces of legislation that can come out of the National Assembly. And part of my representation is to attract federal presence to my constituency. Now, if the budget comes to the National Assembly and I represent a particular constituency, and I look at it, and I don't see my constituency represented in that budget, and I know throughout the year my constituents have asked me for this, asked me for that, they need this, they need that. It is only me they can talk to. They're not going to talk to the president, they're not going to talk to any minister, they're going to talk to me. So I actually consider it as malpractice. Malpractice.
Not pardon.
If you can use the word, I mean, it's all about nomenclature, semantics. You can use whatever word you want to use. I find it, I will consider it malpractice if during the budget cycle that I have an opportunity to attract something to my constituency, I sit back and do nothing. And go back in 4 years to seek for their mandate again. When I promised them all these years that I'll do this, I'll do that, what do I go back and tell them? Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to do this, I'm not allowed to do that. Even in the most advanced of democracies in America, you've heard of earmarks, you've heard of pork barrel legislation, it's the same thing. So that's why I say it's about semantics. It is done everywhere in the world. Otherwise, you're not worth the seat you sit on.
Some parts of Honorable Gbajabiamila interview with China's television politics. Well, we take a moment, and when we return, off we go onto the PDP matter and the crisis rocking the party's leadership. Join us again.